Welcome back to JoyTube, the home of epic tales of the ancient times. In this channel, we research to bring you the events that took place in the ancient times to help you know how far we have come as human beings and also help you follow the right way to enable you live a truly fulfilled and happy life. We are continuing with the untold story of Joseph's life and rise to the top in Egypt. Locked in the cold, dark cells of an Egyptian prison, Joseph, the Hebrew servant, had every reason to despair. Yet, unbeknownst to him, the chains on his hands were about to become the key to the throne. This is the story of Joseph's extraordinary journey, from a falsely accused prisoner to the most powerful man in Egypt after Pharaoh himself. In the prison, where Joseph serves two royal prisoners, Pharaoh's chief butler and baker. One fateful night, both dream strange dreams. The butler dreams of a flourishing vine with 3 branches, while the baker envisions 3 baskets of bread on top of his head, pecked at by birds. Joseph interprets their dreams. For the butler, his dream signifies restoration to his position in 3 days. For the baker, the news is grim: in 3 days, he will face execution. 3 days later, Pharaoh's birthday feast confirms Joseph's interpretations. The butler is reinstated, but the baker is executed. Before the butler leaves, Joseph pleads, "Remember me to Pharaoh." But days turn into months, and the butler forgets Joseph. 2 years pass. Pharaoh dreams of 7 fat cows swallowed by 7 lean ones, and 7 healthy ears of corn devoured by 7 thin ones. No magician or wise man in Egypt could interpret the dreams, leaving Pharaoh deeply troubled. Suddenly, the butler remembers Joseph. There is a Hebrew prisoner, he tells Pharaoh, who can interpret dreams. Pharaoh wastes no time and summons Joseph. The tension rises as Joseph is cleaned up and brought before Pharaoh. The grandeur of the Egyptian court is vividly depicted: Pharaoh's throne adorned with gold, the shimmering jewels on his robes, and the vast hall filled with officials. Pharaoh shares his dreams, and Joseph, filled with divine wisdom, responds, "The dreams are one. 7 years of abundance will be followed by 7 years of severe famine. God has revealed what he is about to do." Joseph didn't stop at interpreting the dreams. He advises Pharaoh to appoint a wise and discreet man to gather and store food during the 7 years of plenty to prepare for the famine. Pharaoh, awestruck by Joseph's wisdom, declares, "Who is wiser than this man, in whom the Spirit of God dwells?" Pharaoh appoints Joseph as his second-in-command, giving him the royal seal and dressing him in fine robes. Joseph ascends to power, overseeing Egypt's preparation for the famine. To prove the truth of his interpretation, Joseph predicts an immediate sign: "This day, your wife will bear you a son, but your firstborn shall die." That very day, the prophecy comes true. Pharaoh's joy at the birth of his son is tempered by the grief of losing his firstborn. His faith in Joseph is solidified. Joseph embarks on his mission, traveling across Egypt to store grain in massive quantities. He transforms the nation into a fortress of sustenance, ready for the famine. As the years of plenty pass, Joseph's influence grows, and his name becomes synonymous with wisdom and foresight. The scene transitions to barren fields and starving people as the famine takes hold. But in Egypt, thanks to Joseph's leadership, there is food. People from neighboring lands journey to Egypt, desperate to buy grain, unknowingly setting the stage for Joseph's eventual reunion with his brothers. Thus Pharaoh, recognizing Joseph's unparalleled wisdom, declares, "There is none as discreet and wise as you. You shall be second only to me in all of Egypt." Pharaoh renames him Zaphnath-Paaneah and gives him authority over the land, signified by his royal ring, fine garments, and a golden chain. Joseph, now 30 years old, steps into his new role with confidence and wisdom. He oversees the storage of vast amounts of grain during the abundant years, ensuring Egypt's survival. As famine spreads across the region, neighboring nations turn to Egypt for aid, drawn by Joseph's foresight and planning. Pharaoh further elevates Joseph by arranging his marriage to Asenath, the beautiful daughter of the priest Potipharah. Their union cements Joseph's place among the Egyptian elite. Joseph builds a magnificent home, establishes an army, and gains the admiration of all Egypt. His leadership is celebrated, and his story becomes one of hope, faith, and divine favor. But Joseph's journey to power wasn't without its challenges. Egypt's law dictated that no man could rule without knowing all 70 languages spoken in the land. On the eve of his appointment, an angel visits Joseph in his dreams and miraculously imparts this knowledge. The next day, Joseph astounds Pharaoh and his court by speaking every language fluently, silencing any doubts about his right to govern. In a grand ceremony, Joseph rides through the streets of Egypt on a royal chariot, surrounded by soldiers, musicians, and throngs of adoring citizens. Women sing his praises from rooftops, and crowds shower the streets with perfumes and treasures. Heralds proclaim, "This is the man chosen by Pharaoh. Bow before him." The people, captivated by his wisdom and beauty, honor him as a savior. Joseph's journey from a Hebrew slave to the second most powerful man in Egypt is a testament to resilience, divine providence, and unwavering faith. Despite his trials, Joseph remains humble, recognizing that his success is as the result of God's favor. Amidst all the pomp and splendor, Joseph remains humble. As he gazes at the adoring crowds, he lifts his eyes to heaven and prays. He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the dunghill. O Lord of hosts, happy is the man who trusts in you. There is a greater plan at work, one that can transform trials into triumphs and suffering into glory. As the famine looms, Joseph stands ready to fulfill his divine purpose, to save not only Egypt but the surrounding nations. His legacy as a man of integrity, wisdom, and unwavering faith is a beacon of hope for generations to come. Joseph's story is more than a tale of triumph, it's a message of hope, faith, and destiny. His rise from prisoner to ruler reminds us that no situation is beyond redemption, and that faith can turn even the darkest moments into opportunities for greatness. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of faith, courage, and divine destiny. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories that bring ancient wisdom to life. Until next time, stay tuned.